So who here is a fan of haul videos? You know, I haven't done one since I came back from Europe, and I've got one for you today, a massive fragrance haul video. We've got designers, we've got niche brands, we've got classics, we've got modern stuff, we've got budget and expensive stuff, all in this one big haul video. Massive, I should say. If you're curious to find out what I've picked up, then please stay tuned. Thanks so much for tuning in. This is Sebastian. Are you guys enjoying the new camera, by the way? I'm going to tell you what camera I'm using when I do a channel updates video within the next week. But do let me know what you think about this camera and the way it shoots. I've been airing 4K videos because this camera is freaking amazing. And you're going to be all surprised after I tell you what I'm using. It's amazing. I'm going to get rid of all my other cameras. I've got really expensive cameras that I've stopped using ever since I've been using this amazing camera. So we'll find out what it is later on. But like I said, today I've got a massive haul video for you. All kinds of stuff here. Random things that I've been looking at online and I purchased. These are all fragrances I bought, by the way. None of these are gifted or given to me. I purchased them myself. There's one sort of a vintage fragrance. There's a lot of classics. There's a lot of new stuff. Designer niche, as I was saying. So let's get started. So the first fragrance I'm going to talk to you about is from the house of CARTIER. So this is a fragrance I didn't even know existed. One of you guys, a friend from Instagram that I've hung out with during different perfume shows, sent me a message saying, "Did you know that there was a PARFUM version of this fragrance?" And I'm like, "No, I didn't even know this came out." Turns out it came out around 2019, and I completely missed it. This is Cartier's L'Envol de Cartier Parfum. Did you guys even know this existed? I really didn't. So I found the bottle on eBay because I looked it up. I did all kinds of research and it came and went so fast. And L'Envol de Cartier is not one of the most popular Cartier fragrances, but if you like the idea of honey with musk, it's a male fragrance, but I think it's very unisex. Then you should definitely try it. But we've got the Parfum version here. We're going to go ahead and do a quick sniff of this. I'm going to grab my strips here. Let's see. So I have smelled it. I should show you the bottle first. There it is. So did you guys know that when L'Envol first came out, it was in this most unusually glass fragile bottle, and you can actually remove this glass part, and it came with this kind of like bulb in there that you couldn't just put flat. It rolled around. But there was another fragrance from a niche house that had come out just before, and that company, I believe, sued Cartier, and Cartier lost out, and now they have this kind of bulky, clunky bottle. But just a little information for you guys in case you didn't know about that. I have the original bottle and I have it and cherished and forever, but now they have these bottles. But this is the Parfum version of L'Envol. It's L'Envol de Cartier Parfum. I don't have notes for you guys. I didn't write down notes since this is a haul video. But so it's definitely a darker take on L'Envol, and you can actually experience the intensity, the depth of the fragrance. Perhaps a bit smoky. I'm picking up something like olibanum or frankincense in here as well. So they've intensified it and made it resinous and smoky with incense. So there's not much stock out there of this. If you are a fan of L'Envol, get yourself, look for a bottle, get it. This was like $120. I found it on eBay and I instantly snatched it up. And I wanted it because I'm a collector. I want to collect this. And of course, as I say, there's people that come here, do sniff sessions with clients and things. And it's always nice to pull out something that they might have not seen. So the next fragrance I'm going to talk to you about is from the house of DIPTYQUE. It's Eau NABATI. This is it right here in the box. So I never picked up L'Eau Papier. I was kind of bored of L'Eau Papier. I mean, I don't know. If I get a good deal or something, I might pick it up. But, you know, they already have Orpheon. Powdery. L'Eau Papier is kind of powdery. They also have Fleur de Peau, which is powdery. And L'Eau Papier kind of was boring for me. I don't know, it might grow on me. But I actually was given a sample of NABATI. I instantly loved it. For me, it kind of reminds me of an amber fougere. I have no idea why. It does, but here is the bottle. Without the reflections, but unfortunately I can't help the reflections. So that's the bottle, yeah, it reminds me a bit of an amber fougere, because there's kind of like aromatic touches in here that I quite like, and when I was wearing it, it just takes me back to the days of my dad when he was wearing fragrances. Something about it really does remind me of something fougere-like in here. And I don't have the notes, as I was saying earlier, with these fragrances, but the notes don't seem like they're going to be going in that direction. But for some reason, this one just reminds me of a barbershop fragrance, but with a lot of warmth. I don't know. Have you guys sampled this yet? Let me know if you have. I'm having a difficult time putting that in. But I quite like that, and I do enjoy fougere barbershop fragrances, and definitely that one is one that I really enjoy. So I've got fragrances written down so that I know what I'm going to talk about. So the next fragrance I'm going to talk to you about is GUERLAIN AQUA ALLEGORIA collection fragrance Harvest Nerolia. So Macy's was having 15% off recently, and I bought several fragrances, and this was there, and I was happy. This, I believe, is a limited edition flanker to the original. It's called Nerolia Vetiver. This is Harvest Nerolia Vetiver. But when I got my box, I was like, did they send me a tester? This is how it came. It's in this kind of a new packaging, and it's in here like this. So I don't know why they're doing this. Maybe they're eliminating certain packaging or something, or keeping the waste to a minimum. But this is Harvest Nerolia Vetiver right here. So Harvest Nerolia Vetiver seems like they've taken Nerolia Vetiver into a very honeyed direction. If you like the idea of honey, you got to get your nose on this one, because this is a honey bomb, I think. So basically, the Neroli to me has honeyed touches to begin with. So I think they've added honey or something in here to make it smell a lot more honeyed. You still have the vetiver in here, but this time it's the reverse. You have a honeyed neroli with vetiver. It's quite warm and it's quite delicious, and it kind of sort of takes me into the direction of, do you guys know Apé de la Fleur d'Oranger Neroli Intense? Sort of something like that, but not quite. But if you like the idea of that fragrance, you might want to check this out. From what I hear, this is a limited edition fragrance, and so get yourself a bottle because it will run out. And thankfully, I was able to get a brand new bottle at Macy's for 15% off, which is always great. I'm always looking for discounts on fragrances, and I got a discount on this one. But what do you guys think of this packaging? Is this something new that they're doing? It looks like a tester box, right? So on my hunt for pistachio fragrances, I came across this fragrance, and I looked it up, and I was like, wow, this has quite the following, and I knew nothing about this fragrance. This is from a Brazilian house called Sol de Janeiro, and it's Cheirosa 62. This one right here. Do you guys know this brand? This I bought off of Amazon, and it was only like $70 some. I kind of like the bottle. It kind of has a bit of a disco ball, kind of an cap. Look at that. Let me know if you're a fan of it. I know this brand has a lot of body sprays rather than perfumes, and I believe this came in a body spray in addition to the perfume, but I'm not into the body sprays, obviously, so I took a bottle. And this is actually 50 ml size, so it was around $70 some. Let's go ahead and smell it. To me, it's nice, but I was a little bit underwhelmed with it. It's not, you know, one of the most amazing scents, but, you know, I kind of like it. It has a bit of a mass appeal to it, but it also has a bit of a butterscotchy touch. So it has these gourmand touches for me. And of course, there's the nuttiness there. Definitely has a bit of a pistachio vibe, but it's not like a full-on pistachio. It's just, to me, it's more like a caramel butterscotch kind of a gourmand creamy scent with light smoky touches and of course nuttiness there, because caramel typically is a bit smoky, caramelized sugar and things like that. But to me, it's more of the butterscotch and less of the caramel, along with a nuttiness of the pistachio. So that's Sol de Janeiro. This is, I'm forgetting the name. It's CHEIROSA 62. I have no idea what these names mean, and I'm very new to this brand. So if you guys have info on this house, let me know. Put a comment down. I actually went to their website and did a bunch of research on it, and that's how I ended up with that bottle at Amazon, because Amazon's selling that brand. So moving on, I did my ZARA fragrances video recently, and the only other one that I found that is created by the well-known perfumers inside the black box like this is Magnificent Black. So this one's created by Hamid Moradi Kashani, as you can see right there. So the black boxes were all by Firmenich perfumers. And let's go ahead and sample this one for you. Remember, if you haven't caught that video, go catch it. It's 5 different fragrances from this series of fragrances. The black bottles are Firmenich, and then we had Givaudan perfumers with the tan colored boxes. But this is Hamid Moradi Kashani. It's Magnificent Black. Let's go ahead and see. To me, I feel like there's a bit of lavender. No, I feel like there's a bit of vetiver in here, but I'm not really 100% sure what the notes are. To me, it smells like vetiver with some aromatics and some freshness there, but I'd have to look it up. It smells pleasant as it is, so I could see someone put this one to use quite a bit. It could be like a signature scent. It's not anything daring or unusual. It's kind of like vetiver with some citruses, with some smokiness and some aromatics and some freshness there. Again, I could totally be off with the notes. I'm quickly smelling it here for you. But this is ZARA Fragrances Series number 1. As you can see back there, it was $39.90. And it's Magnificent Black, created by Hamid Moradi Kashani. Alright, this next one is a bit of a disappointment for me, and I had done a video on Stronger With You Leather and Stronger With You Oud, and everybody was talking about the amber, but I think the amber is, out of the 3 of these fragrances, is the least favorite of mine. I think it's not a really great fragrance, and to me, it smells like the original DNA of Stronger With You, which I never really cared for, and unfortunately, I'm unhappy with Stronger With You Amber, but who is happy with this one? Let's go ahead and smell it once again. I hope this is the last one they do and they kill this series, because I am not a fan of the Stronger With You series, but I did enjoy the leather the most, next the oud, and then followed by the amber here. And as I was saying, the amber to me smells most like the original DNA, in that it doesn't really have a lot going for it, not anything exciting. There's definitely some, I would say this has some oudy touches, and also some like light, like ambroxan kind of touches, maybe perhaps something similar to Baccarat Rouge, but under there's a lot of reminders of the original Armani Stronger With You series and the original fragrances from that series. So out of the 3, my favorite would be the leather, followed by the oud, and then followed by the amber. But what are your thoughts on this series? Do you have the leather, the oud, and the amber? Do you like them? Do you hate them? Let me know. Put a comment down. Let's go into a couple of different fragrances from L'Artisan Parfumeur. 2 fragrances from their vegetable series, and I'm not remembering the name of the vegetable series. Both of them are created by Quentin Biche. Big fan of the guy's fragrances. And these are Vetiver Écarlate and Iris de Gris. So we've got Iris with peas, I believe. And then we've got Vetiver with tomatoes, I believe. Who's into vegetal fragrances? This series is vegetables meshed with kind of famous or popular notes and ingredients. And out of the 5, I've smelled these several times on various trips to Europe, and these 2 were my favorites. Here is Vetiver Écarlate. So, and also because I'm a fan of Quinton's creations. I've got another fragrance here created by Quinton Biche, which I'll get to towards the end. This vetiver is quite delicious. If you like the idea of that tomato leaf kind of pulpiness mixed in with the dry, grassy, earthy, woody vetiver note, you're going to like this one. That tomato note adds freshness. And also that vegetal. Well, I would say tomato is more fruity, but it's a savory fruit, so it's more like a vegetable to me. But this is a wonderful fragrance. Vetiver Écarlate from L'Artisan Parfumeur. Check that out if you don't know it. And the other one, as I was saying, is Iris de Gris. This kind of reminding me Jacques Fat's Iris de Fat. Kind of. So this one, as you can see, there's peas on the box. So it's iris with peas, vegetal note. Obviously the color of the peas in the juice of the fragrance. Most likely they've added color to this. God, it smells like iris with peas. Very vegetal and very green. And I don't know, I mentioned a lot of times in my videos, my dad used to grow gardens. So I'm used to the smell of all the vegetables and herbs and things. This just takes me back to the days when he was like digging and the soil and planting and nurturing all the plants and things. This totally smells like a garden to me. It's powdery green peas hanging off the vines. Fantastic. Really, really great. If you're into the idea of vegetal fragrances, try them all. I think they're very unique and interesting. They're not conventional, but still very wearable fragrances. So that is Iris de Gris from the house of L'Artisan Parfumeur. All right, the next fragrances I bought during that Macy's 15% off sale were these 2 fragrances that I've been waiting to buy from Macy's when they had that 15% off. So I saw these promoted on 2 perfumers' Instagram accounts, Olivier Cresp and Alberto Morillas. They created the original fragrances, and they have done flankers of them with the most beautiful bottles. And so we've got Dolce & Gabbana Light Blue Summer Vibes for the ladies, and then we've got one for the men, pour homme. So the fragrances are not the best. Between the 2, I always felt like the women's was a little better than the men's. Men's is created by Alberto Morillas. The women's was created by Olivier Cresp. And Olivier Cresp and Alberto Morillas have now redone or created flankers of these 2 fragrances. Here are the bottles. I think the bottles are quite gorgeous. Come on, focus now. There we go. What do you think of the bottles? They remind me... I think these are more Italian inspired, but for me, visiting, Portugal, in Porto especially, they had these, like, I guess they're called azulejas. Is that how you say it? These walls and with the tiles painted like that. It reminds me of that. But let's go ahead and quickly smell these 2. For me, the original smells like a less expensive version of Creed's Jardin d'Amalfi. I don't know if you guys have compared those 2. They do remind me of one another. And let's see how this smells. It kind of reminds me of the original, but I know it's a little different. I believe they've changed the formula a bit because, it's a flanker. It's called Summer Vibes. And they've done a ton of different flankers of this series. A ton. I think the woman's is definitely better than the men's, especially that you can get like a cheap or inexpensive version of the Jardin d'Amalfi from Creed, which is very, very pricey. And the men's, I was never a fan of. I guess it's kind of wearable. It's lemony. It's lemony. It's got marine touches and things like that. Smelling it, now, I don't think it's a bad fragrance. It's just not a fragrance that I really like to wear. It's definitely marine and salty and also very citrusy. So if you like these kind of bottles, I suggest get them, because I think these are limited edition. They will not be around forever, but really, truly gorgeous, gorgeous work of art, I think, with these bottles. What are your thoughts? Do let me know. Put a comment down so I can find out. Let's move on to this fragrance. Many of you have been asking me to pick this one up, and I finally did with another promotion at Neiman Marcus. This is a YSL Le Vestiaire collection fragrance, and this is launched here, unlike Baby Cat. We're talking about Queer, this one right here. So this is a leather fragrance, and this is a 2023 version of Queer, because they've had another version. Not sure what happened to that, but they got rid of it and brought this back as a 2023 version. But for me, it's a very fresh leather. There's a major component of violet leaves here. So it has an ozonic touch. And there's a lot of fragrances out there now with the whole violet leaves note. This doesn't smell anything like those to me. It smells pretty leathery. There's an intensity with the leather, but it's surrounded by the ozonic freshness of the violet leaves with a bit of a green and crunchy, juicy vibe. So that's that. I don't think it's as solid as Baby Cat, and I don't even know why the hell they haven't brought Baby Cat over. It is just bizarre. It's a bizarre marketing thing they're doing. It's so popular. People want it so much. I don't think Queer is going to be as big as Baby Cat, and also the previous release, Le Valier, is also not going to be as big as Baby Cat. But what is YSL doing by not releasing Baby Cat here? And if you've tried Queer, let me know. Put a comment down so I can find out. Moving on to the house of Calvin Klein. Not one of my favorite houses, but this one was kind of intriguing. I even spoke about it in an upcoming fragrances video. This is Calvin Klein's CK Reflections. Have you guys tried it yet? It's a very fresh, ice-cold fragrance. So if you're into the idea of fresh, ice-cold fragrances, you've got to try this one because it has notes of ice in it. I think this would be perfect for those really hot days. There's definitely a bit of a mint cocktail vibe here, but it's got a very frozen effect. Very cooling, and very cooling can be kind of calming, especially when it's really hot outside. So it's a decent smell. It's not like wow. There's a bit of like aquatic thing happening here because there's that whole ice note in here. But either way, try that and see. CK Reflections from CK1 Reflections from Calvin Klein. So these two fragrances are also fairly recent, and the rest of the fragrances will be older fragrances. But I've spoken about Dries Van Noten's fragrances. I have one of them, which is the Cannabis Patchouli. Out of the rest of them, they had launched large-size cologne fragrances, not the regular collection, which I find to be really, really great in comparison to the rest of the collection. I kept coming back to those fragrances, one created by Quinton Biche, one created by Annick Menardo. Both really great. They're colognes, but they smell really fantastic. So this one right here is this one is Orange Smoke. This one right here. Let me show you the cap. Can we focus? There we go. This is Dries Van Noten Orange Smoke. Let's go ahead and smell this. I don't know what it is about these two fragrances because they're kind of light and airy and perfect summery fragrances. Really lovely. It's juicy. It's fresh. It's orangey. Maybe a bit floral, like the citrus florals and things like that. Really wonderful. And again, I took advantage of a Saks Fifth Avenue promotion. Remember, I'm a promotion guy. I want to make sure I get the deals. And the second cologne fragrance from the Dries Van Noten collection, the Orange Smoke is Annick Menardo created, and then this is the second one, Sur Ma Peau, and this one's created by Quinton Biche. This one's even better than that, but this one's not a citrus, it's something else. There's a bit of a cumin vibe in here, which I quite like, with all its freshness. Really wonderful fragrance. Really, really wonderful. This does say bergamot and vanilla for the Sur Ma Peau. Really, really good, guys. If you like cologne-style fragrances with some unique twists, try these. I think they're a little better than the original line. There's a few favorites of mine in the original series, but I think the colognes are really, really wonderful. And they have the really beautiful bottles, as you can see. Anyway, that is Sur Ma Peau from Dries Van Noten. They're right now selling at Saks Fifth Avenue in New York City, and that's where I ordered those fragrances. Been really enjoying wearing them, and I'm going to put them to use very soon. So now we're going to go into a collection of older fragrances. We're going to start first with Hugo Boss's Oud fragrances. I've had the original Oud bottled, or Boss bottled Oud, I believe is what it's called. And then now we've got Boss bottled Oud Aromatic and Boss bottled Oud Saffron, these right here. I've been wanting to get these for a while, and finally they're at the discounters because they never got an official release here. And so glad to have them and to report on them. Perhaps I'll do a video on all three of the fragrances in this series. I think there's only three. I don't think there's more than three. Let me know if there is a fourth one. But the Oud Aromatic, obviously it says Oud or Aromatic, and it'll have aromatic notes with Oud. For some reason, I'm getting a honeyed experience here. Is that something? It smells of honey. I haven't looked up the notes, but that one's quite nice. In fact, I think these two are a bit better than the original Boss Bottled Oud. That one was around for a long time. These came out much later. And let's try the Oud Saffron. And obviously the saffron's going to be kind of aromatic and leathery. I like the nice red bottle, as you can see. Let's see how this one is. Who's a fan of these, by the way? Let me know. This one's definitely more on the Middle Eastern side. I know there's that leathery touch of the saffron, and there's actually rosiness here as well. Both of these are really nice. In fact, I like these two a little more than the original. The original was taking into that appley kind of oudy direction of the original Boss Bottled, which I was a fan of and wore in the late 90s. Anyway, these two are going to be fun to put to use here and to speak about on the channel. Designer Oud fragrances. They weren't that inexpensive, but they were definitely under $100 for those two. Now let's talk about these really cheapies from the Target stores, Finery fragrances. Before the Rainbow. And then we've got I'm a Musk. So Before the Rainbow does remind me of a really budget take on something like Wood Sage and Sea Salt. I bought these for 29 bucks. It's a 50 ml bottle, I think, or is it a 60? It's a 60 ml bottle. Here's what it looks like. This also reminds me a little bit of, what is it called? There's the MAC fragrance. Drawing a blank with the name. But yeah, it's a fun fragrance. It definitely reminds me of Wood Sage and Sea Salt. If you're looking for a budget version of that, which I believe it's around $160 for 100 ml. It says it smells like salty air, bergamot, and tree moss. Kind of similar idea. So that is Finery's Before the Rainbow. And then it's I'm a Musk, this one right here. This to me says Fluffy Musk, Cotton Blossom, Creamy Sandalwood. But to me, it's more like not a perfume. And I think this would be perfect to be a layering tool if you like the idea of boosting up your fragrances, intensifying them. Because it doesn't have a lot of smell to me. It's very minimalistic, like Molecule 1, Molecule 2. Smells like laundry, but very, very light and faint. Definitely something you should have around. So if you just like minimalistic fragrances, I would definitely get this. And I think between the two, I much prefer the I'm a Musk, because this one you can do a lot with. The Before the Rainbow definitely has a bit of cheap smell to it, but I think it's still passable. If you're on a budget, you can totally use that in place of something like Wood Sage and Sea Salt. But for me, with I'm a Musk, I would carry a couple of bottles. I mean, have a couple of bottles of these and leave them at different places, work, at the house, maybe a gym bag. I think it would be a great gym fragrance, and also maybe perhaps to use to boost up your fragrances and things like that. So this next fragrance is from the house of DUNHILL, and it's DUNHILL D. It's a men's fragrance, and this is something that I've wanted to buy, and I was going through Fragrance Net, and it was there for like $35, I think. Here's the bottle. And so, you add your cart and you get the free shipping kind of a thing. So I don't really know what the notes are for this one. It seems very aromatic, citrusy, kind of something in line with You or Someone Like You, but not quite, because it's got like a lot of freshness and also like this minty, presence in the mix. Yeah, that's what it is, I think. Something similar to that. Not identical, but DUNHILL's, version of something like that. Although this probably came out way before You or Someone Like You. But if you like the idea of something like that for men, try that one. I think it's very, very fresh and aromatic. So that is DUNHILL D. Anybody know that one? Let me know. Put a comment down. So one of you had messaged me about this fragrance and said it was a great value. So once again, Fragrance Net shopping, adding to the cart because it's budget and trying to get various different budget fragrances. This is Ben Sherman's Signature. Any fans of this one? So this one was around 20 bucks. And here is the bottle. Kind of looks like Burberry, but not quite. So let's go ahead and smell it. From what I smelled, it was pretty pleasant. I think this is one of those fragrances you can have in a gym bag and things like that. It's inexpensive, easy, dumb reach kind of. It smells like vetiver to me, a bit smoky, but also very fresh. I think it's totally wearable. Modern British icon, it says. This is the Ben Sherman original. The original Ben Sherman signature is what I should say. Yeah, that's a nice scent. I think it's very vetiver-y. Those of you that know that one, let me know. Totally wearable. It doesn't smell cheap or whatever. The finery, Before the Rainbow, I can tell the ingredients are not the most expensive. But this, for even less than the finery, and it smells even more expensive than that, totally worth it, I think. So that's the signature from Ben Sherman. So we've got this fragrance here from Laura Biagiotti. It's Roma Uomo Green Swing. What do you guys think of that one? Have you tried it? So this is a long-standing collection of fragrances, Roma by Laura Biagiotti. It's the Roma Uomo, I should say. This one, I believe, is Violet Leaves. That's why it's green. It's got a green bottle. And I also believe this is created by Daphne Bouget, I believe. So, once again, it's got a bit of a mintiness and also kind of fresh ozonic touches. It's very green for sure, but not overwhelming. It's like not swimming in the weeds and grass and vegetation. This green is there, but it's more aromatic and herbal, but lots of kind of apple-y freshness, like ozonic freshness. Pretty nice. That's Roma Uomo, and it's a green swing. I don't know where they get the name from. Not really the biggest fan of the name, but let me know if you've tried that one. Put a comment down below. And then we've got a few feminine fragrances. We've got this one right here. This is a fragrance that a friend was wearing in Europe. A friend of mine that's in Europe, they were wearing this, and I asked them what they were wearing. She said it's this one, Mauboussin in red. It's a really inexpensive fragrance, they said. And I was smelling something Baccarat Rouge-like on them. So here it is, a Fragrance Net haul I did, and I picked it up. This is the bottle right here. What do you guys think? Have you tried this one? So Mauboussin does make great fragrances. They do get discontinued quite fast too. This is very fruity. Those of you that like fruity fragrances are going to like this one. I believe it has gourmand notes in it as well from what I was reading about it. Yeah, I think it's totally doable. If you like something like Delina with like a Baccarat Rouge vibe, You might dig this one. This one, I think it was like 40 bucks. So quite inexpensive. So it's Mabusan in red. I think I've got the box on wrong. And then this one from Escada, it's Candy Love. It's a tester I bought off of Fragrance Net. This is this. Anybody fan of this? You know, I haven't bought an Escada fragrance in ages, and I bought 2 Escada fragrances, one for the men, one for women. This Escada Candy Love is more modern. The one I bought for men is more of a classic. Very fruity, very fun and playful, obviously, just like the bottle. Very fruity. If you like fruity fragrances, definitely try that one. It's for the ladies, for sure. It comes with a very pink bottle. I'm not a big fan of pink. So this next one is for the guys. I'm going to go with the Davidoff Cool Water Intense. I don't know, one of you guys told me about this. And I was like, okay, I'm not the biggest fan of Cool Water, but they said this was really, really good. Do I really like it? Let me just see. It's very thick take on the original. It's an intense version of Cool Water, and it's an eau de parfum concentration. The original is definitely very fresh and watery. This one would be more of an intense take on that. It's pleasant, it's aquatic, it's a bit marine and things like that, so it's refreshing, I think. If you want something with a little more substance rather than the original Cool Water, that one's definitely one for you to try. And this is the male Escada fragrance I bought, which I wore back in the early 2000s. This is Escada Sentiment right here. I believe it was the early 2000s. It could be the latter part of the 2000s. This is the original bottle. In fact, I have my original aftershave. I had bought a gift set. It came with an aftershave and it came with the fragrance. The fragrance was used up, the aftershave never, and I still have that. But this I wanted again, and for me, it doesn't smell like the original fragrance. It's gotten the butchering, the watering down of this, the original fragrance. It's there, but it's a bit weak. Anyway, what do you guys think of this one? Escada has had some great fragrances before, but I hardly hear about them anymore. I like this bottle. It's very much for nostalgia reasons. But it's fresh. There's definitely lots of freshness. It doesn't smell bad. It just smells a bit weak. So this I would wear sometime when it's really warm outside. But anyway, that's Escada Sentiment pour Homme. This one right here. Last but not least, we've got a bit of a vintage take on a fragrance. This is still selling from Balenciaga. It's just the original Balenciaga for the women. This is a tester bottle that I bought off of someone. And this is a Violet Bomb. This is it right here. Anybody know this one? If you're into Violet, you've got to get your nose on this one because this is a Violet Bomb. But they're still selling this for about 40 bucks online. This version is one of the original when it first was launched in the 2000s. It's pretty heavy, but it's more violet flower rather than violet leaves. And so this is the box it came in, and that's how I bought it right there. So it's definitely a demonstration. It says tester. But anyway, that's the last fragrance. Anyway, that's the haul video for you guys. Let me know what your thoughts are on these fragrances. Let me know what you think about these, and if you like them, you hate them, have you tried them, have you been wanting to try them, put a comment down below so I can find out. But either way, guys, thanks so much for watching today's video. If you have any questions or comments, please do list below. Please like this video, please share it, follow me on Instagram and Facebook, and I'll be back with more videos very soon. Have a good one. Goodbye.